We're making something for my cookbook again. Maple syrup cinnamon buns. And dare I say, maple syrup cinnamon buns are the better version of regular cinnamon buns? I think I dare. Look at it. It's cinnamon buns with toppings of maple syrup and pecan nuts. It's just delicious. It's decadent, it's rich, it's sugary. If you eat two, you're going to have a major sugar high. I can promise you that. They're still warm, they're soft, they're gooey, just amazing. What I really like about this recipe is, one, it's made with my basic brioche dough recipe. So you can make lots of dough and then make a small batch of this or make some hamburger buns. It's all the same dough. And two is you can make these at night, and then instead of doing a second rise in room temperature, you can put them in the fridge, cover them up, put them in the fridge, and they'll rise in the fridge, and eventually that process stagnates because they get colder, the temperature starts to drop, and then you can just bake them in the morning. Preheat the oven while they're still in the fridge, put them in, and then you'll have warm, fresh maple syrup, pecan, cinnamon buns for breakfast. So it looks amazing, but it's not difficult to make. Let's do this. Good morning. So let's start with our dough. Fun fact, it's the exact same dough I use for my hamburger buns. So if you've seen my smash burger recipe, I'll put it somewhere over here, then you know exactly what to do. I'm not going to repeat the entire process. I'm just going to add everything right now except for my butter. And once the dough is kneading, I'll add my butter bit by bit and knead until we have a nice and smooth dough. I'll show you in a bit. Let's just first add everything. I'll put the quantities in the description box below. And we have been kneading for about 10 minutes. And we have a nice, soft dough. Now, if you knead your dough correctly, it's not sticky anymore. It's still a bit tacky, but it doesn't break off, and it's not as sticky as when you're just getting started with kneading, and that's because the gluten are now well developed. So I'm going to leave this in my bowl to rise for about an hour or until it's doubled in size. And I'm going to give you a little close-up as well. Here we go, nice and smooth. Our dough has risen beautifully, and now we're going to make the filling and the topping. The filling is just a regular butter, sugar, and cinnamon, and the topping I'm going to show you in a bit, but first the filling. So it's important to get all of your ingredients on room temperature because you need to really cream your butter. So for our toppings, we're going to need more butter. Second packet of butter. And we are going to need the sugar. Milk. And the maple syrup. I'll bring this to a boil or light simmer until the butter is melted and the sugar is melted as well. I roughly chopped the pecan. Is it pecan or pecan? I'm not sure, but I chopped them up roughly. Let's and then pour over your syrup. Oh. Let's be smart about this because it's hot. So onto the dough. Here it is. Lightly dust your countertop with a little bit of flour, and then deflate your dough to sponge back all of the air. Now we want 12 equal sizes cinnamon buns. So 12 times this, and then just keep some room open at the end because we're going to cut that off because there's no filling in there. I think this is the correct width. Now we're going to spread all of our filling on here. And it's easier if you start it at the center and then spread out to the sides. We're going to roll it up. And I'm going to cut off this side because there's practically no filling in here. And now I'm going to measure out 12 equal portions. And let's start cutting them. And I'm going to place them onto my syrup. I'll put this in the front so you can see. Now we need to let our buns rise until they are doubled in size, and the best part is we place them onto that hot syrup. So the heat from that syrup really makes our dough rise very fast, so it only takes about 30 minutes. Do cover them in the meantime though, because you don't want it to dry out. In the meantime, I'm also going to preheat my oven to 190 degrees Celsius. So I'll see you in about 30 minutes when they are nice and doubled in size. Lovely. So our buns have risen beautifully. They're nice and doubled in size. So now I'm going to bake them for about 20 to 25 minutes until the top is golden brown and the syrup is nice and bubbling. We're going to let these cool off for about 15 minutes so that the syrup can set a little bit, and then we're going to flip them over. We're going to invert another baking dish with baking paper on top of our dish over here, and be careful because it's still pretty hot, and just make it quick. 1, 2, 3, flip. Let's pull this off. Oh, look at this, guys. Amazing. I think it's time to taste one. the dough itself is light and fluffy, but then you have this thick layer of syrup and the pecans. It gives a nice crunch and just a lot of flavor, and really that caramel maple syrupy flavor. I would choose this any day over the regular cinnamon buns with frosting. It's just perfect. So, cheers.